what? Oh, it's just started recording. We'll start this again. I'll start it
Okay.
again because I can backtrack. Thank you, Dr. Avi, for coming along and sharing your information. I know that you've got a wealth of knowledge inside your head that you're oozing and looking forward to sharing with the world on your low carb journey. So how is your journey? How did you come to be working in the real food low carb space?
Hi, Linda. Thanks for having me. Yeah, my journey is has been amazing so far. So my journey started about 5 or 6 years ago. My kids have started to grow a bit bigger, so I started to think about myself. Then I wanted to join the gym so I can get fit and lose some weight. So I joined the local gym. I went to the gym 3 times a week. And after 3 months, nothing happened. I didn't lose any fat and nothing happened. I feel a bit better, but still no change in my weight. So then I took up running and I did a 8-week body transformation challenge with the gym just because I wanted to have a go at doing this challenge. And after 8 weeks, I won the challenge. So I lost about 4% fat and about 4
Great.
kilos in my weight. The trainer had me measuring my food. So I had to put the food on the scale. So 120 gram of protein, 20 gram of carbs, and 20 to 30 gram of fat. So I had to weigh all the food and listen to the macros, and basically that's a low carb diet. So I was pretty happy, and I did a low carb down under weekend course for doctors, and I learned about the science. And after the weekend, I decided I'm going to be a low carb GP, and I designed a program, an 8-week not transformation, 8-week low carb program that I can get my patients to come in every week into my bulk billing general practice. And I started to tell my patients to eat low carb and reduce the bread, potato, pasta, sugar. And that's how I started my journey. Then lockdown happened and I looked into the science. I read more books, or actually listened to books, and did some courses on Nutrition Network, Low Carb Down Under. And I progressed to become a low carb GP. So I started to network with like-minded people like Tracy McBeath and Gillian Harvey and all those people. So a couple of years ago, we started a support group called Low Carb Melbourne, and we started to get more people into the community. It's a supportive community. So since then, I have started to get more and more involved into the community. And I woke up one day about 3 months ago. I decided that I don't want to be a normal GP anymore. I don't want to be bulk billing and spending only 10 minutes consultations with my patients. So I decided that I'm going to start my low carb clinic. I want to have longer time. I want to have 45 minutes consultations, talking to my patients about everything in their lifestyle, including their nutrition, sleep, exercise, and stress, mindset. And I've been opened my low carb clinic for a couple of months so far, and it's been an amazing journey. The patients are actually much more enthusiastic once they come into the low carb clinic, and they've had tremendous, fantastic results. Some of them have lost 2 or 3
Wonderful.
kilos in a month. Yeah.
Great. So lots of questions have come out of that. A few minutes of talking, so much knowledge. I just wondered, first of all, how did you find a gym that would put you on a lower carb program? Because lots of gyms are still stuck in the 80s model of needing to have high carbs in their diet. So you were lucky enough to find that gym. How did that happen?
Yeah, I had no idea. It's just a local gym that I joined, and I didn't know it was a low carb diet when I joined the body transformation program. he did tell me to eat 5 meals a day. So
Yeah.
he did prescribe a little bit of fat and carbs as a snack in between the meals. So it's not the same as what what the low carb community talks about with intermittent fasting and time restricted eating. But I got results, but of course I went to the gym and did some strength training as well. So yeah, so strength training combined with low carb eating definitely worked for me.
You opened your low carb clinic, which I know is a baby, but it's amazingly productive and going full steam ahead. What are the main obstacles your clients see when they come to find out about real food, low carb way of living? What do you see are the stumbling blocks for them?
There are lots of stumbling blocks. Some people can't be consistent. They go low carb, then they go back to their normal ways because they've had difficulties or stress, or they just can't adhere to the lifestyle, or friends get into the way. So sometimes they go in and out and can't be consistent.
Yeah.
Sometimes motivation gets less because they're stressed about something, or life gets into the way. Sometimes they don't get results, and then they get disheartened and they feel tired and they don't want to keep going. Sometimes there's just lack of support and or community support.
Yeah.
So definitely coming to see me and having the support, and I tell them that you have to come back and see me in 3 weeks or 4 weeks. Sometimes the accountability can be helpful. Some patients, I make them write an email to me once a week.
Oh, wow.
Just to tell me what's going on. And
fantastic.
yeah, so just an email, and I can read it and I write a short comment, well done. And that makes them accountable, and they realize every Wednesday they've got to write an email to me.
So that's immediately different from a general GP that you visit, because you're actually hands-on in touch with people all the time, as much as you can be, as much as practically possible, helping them to stick to the lifestyle that we all know is so great for people.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I want it to work for them. I want results. So
yeah, yes.
Usually I ask them, how can I help you? How would you like me to help you? And some people come in every 2 weeks and just have a catch up. So that they might find that helpful.
And what are the kind of results that you're seeing with your patients? What's the benefit for them to decide to come and see you? What's the benefit for them health-wise?
Yeah, absolutely. So quite often they find that they can adhere to the lifestyle a bit better because they've got someone to be accountable for.
Yeah.
Or they might just need a bit of guidance they need to be told that they need to prioritize the protein. So quite often they're not eating enough protein, or they might be skipping meals and just eating 1 meal a day all the time and not having enough nutrients, not enough protein.
Yeah, because nutrients are the big, protein is a huge thing. I've even found that for myself. And sometimes I find it hard to fit in the amounts of protein because we're not used to eating that much.
Yeah, absolutely. Sometimes some people just need to be told that you need extra salt, or you need extra magnesium for helping. Some people just need to be told you need to exercise, and I send them a video of Jamie Hayes doing strength training exercise, and that gets them doing 15 minutes a day or 50 minutes 3 times a week. So I write out a plan on all the pillars of lifestyle medicine. So the pillars include nutrition, exercise, sleep, stress, and exercise. Did we talk about exercise?
Hydration.
So I list them all and I email the plan to them. Sometimes I print out the plan to them. This is your plan. So I work with the patient and we develop the plan together. I ask them, what would you like to change this time? Someone was addicted to alcohol and they drink every day, and I just write maybe drink 5 nights a week rather than 7 days a week.
Yeah.
Then we go down to 3 days a week. So we
Oh,
develop
right.
a
Yes.
plan together, and I meet them where they're at, and I find that quite helpful.
Yeah, little steps, little baby steps help you certainly stick to your plan a bit easier than trying to just, I mean, some people can just make that change instantly. I know I can't. It takes me a little while to work through the process, I guess. When you work with clients, I know you've mentioned in social media that you, like for Instastate, like for Perth people, if they wanted to come and see Avi, which I would tell them all to come and do, how does that work with their GP, or do you not work with their GP? Do you need a GP in the interim, or are you happy just to work by yourself on like this, on a Zoom call or a Skype, or how do you do this?
Yeah, certainly they need their own GPs, but I welcome having a consultation or a few consultations on video conference.
Yep.
Unfortunately, there's no Medicare rebate. That's the only thing.
Yep. Yep.
So if you haven't been to see me as in person, then Medicare won't pay you.
That's right.
A lot of people are happy to pay. I've had someone from Alice Spring. I've had someone from Northern Territory. They just they have to pay for the consultation, and I give them the tips and I email them the plan, and I can organize blood tests, I can organize calcium artery score, I can write back to the GP that's what the plan is, and I've had people that's found that very helpful.
So that way, if you're writing back to the GPs with your results and your recommendations, do you have any backlash? GPs happy to listen to what you have to say and perhaps learn and take on board a different way of thinking? Because I know we've had, Gary Thetke's had trouble before trying to change the way people eat and do things. Do you find any of those issues when you're dealing with other GPs? Is that fair to ask?
I haven't. Yes, I haven't
No,
had
you
any
haven't.
feedback. I haven't had any feedback so far.
But they're happy just to take on board, and you don't, or you haven't interacted with any GPs.
I haven't interacted with anybody.
Okay, cool. So we can try and practice.
Not sure.
Yeah, you're not sure. That's the never-ending question, isn't it?
Yes.
So tell me about your running. I know that you did some marathon running and you fueled yourself with real food, low-carb food. How did you manage that? What did it feel like? What were the results? What was the training coming up in regards to food? How did you navigate that?
Yeah, so I've been running for about 5 or 6 years, and I've started with nothing. I wasn't exercising. So I started the Couch to 5K run.
Oh, yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah, and I went to park run and I started to make some friends. So then I was running 5 kilometers to begin with, sometimes with walking breaks because the local park run is quite hilly.
Yep.
And
yes.
I wasn't low carb when I first started running. And then I slowly got more and more low carb. 2019, I ran my first marathon, and I was doing low carb during the week, but I was still doing a bit more carbs at the end of the week and using a little bit of carb loading before a long run. But the last 2 years, I have been more and more low carb, and even with running, I am aiming to be fat adapted, and I think I am. So I've become more fat adapted recently, and fueling my body with healthy fat. So the thing is, I don't need to fuel. I don't need breakfast. I exercise fasted most days.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. So whether it's running or strength training, there's no breakfast usually to begin with. I do have a salty drink before I exercise. And I feel like there's endless energy. So I don't usually feel during the run. And even running my last marathon last year in December, I haven't fueled with sugary drinks or gels.
Mm-hmm.
And I still feel like I have energy for long runs. So being fat adapted is amazing. So you've got so much fat stores that if you become fat adapted, which can take from 4 weeks to 3 months to go through the process, and while you're trying to be fat adapted, you might feel less energy and not as much strength or endurance when you exercise. But after you become fat adapted, you stop feeling hungry and you get more energy. Quite often it feels amazing. So yeah, I've certainly felt that. And after I ran my last marathon last year, about 12 months ago, I ran fasted. I didn't feel, and after the run, I didn't even feel hungry. I was just too tired and lie down and didn't even cook any food. So I did end up getting bacon and egg that I cooked for myself afterwards, but it took me an hour or two because I was too busy posting things on social media, and I didn't
having fun,
feel hungry.
Celebrating that you're finished.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, it's pretty amazing.
Yeah, I bet. I have felt that. I have felt that myself when you're running on ketones. You just feel euphoric almost. So did you ever in the beginning of your journey test blood glucose and ketones? Because I know that you did just do an experiment with a continuous glucose monitor, but prior to that, did you ever do any blood testing for ketones and blood glucose when you were trying to become fat adapted, or perhaps when you did your trial at the gym?
Yeah, no, I didn't.
But
funny you asked that. I actually yesterday I just put in an order for a keto meter.
Oh yes. I have one. I have my little freestyle, this one that I every now and then will test my blood glucose and ketones.
So I don't usually test ketones, but I have ordered it from eBay as of yesterday. So it'll come in the next few days, and you might see me posting on social media about my experiment with pricking my fingers on ketones.
I know when I wore the continuous glucose monitor, I was absolutely surprised at how much stress changed my blood glucose. Like if I was stressed, my blood glucose would rise. It was really, really interesting little experiment that I did. I think everyone should wear one for 2 weeks just to see how it feels and what food does to them, because we're all so different, aren't we?
Absolutely. Yeah. I mainly got it because I just wanted to go through the process of getting it, ordering it, and how to put it on, and what food spikes me, and just experience the whole thing. It is a bit expensive. It's $99 for 2 weeks. Yeah. And it's pity it costs so much that people... And
you also, as a layperson, I had to have a letter from a GP to let me order one.
Oh, really?
I couldn't just order it myself. I had to go and get a letter from a GP who thought I was weird, like, why do you want this? And I said, well, I'm just interested, I'm a nutritionist, I just want to know what food does. So that's how I managed to be able to order one. So it's not even easy unless you're a type 2 person to order one.
Not even. So I told the website that I was a diabetic.
Yes, I did that the first time.
And that's how I ordered it. I didn't get a letter. They didn't. The website didn't ask me for a letter. But
I only had to get a letter because the first one that came was faulty, and when I put it on my arm, it didn't work. So then I asked for a replacement, and then they said, "Oh, but why do you have one?" And we didn't have a letter. And
so I've done a few of those letters before when my patients had to get a replacement. Yeah,
said that they want one. Yeah. So what's your e-course all about? Tell me about your e-course, because I know you've been busy working on that. So what does that involve, and how can people become enrolled in your e-course?
Yeah. So I want the message to reach more people. And of course, I want more business myself. Mm-hmm. So about 3 or 4 weeks ago, I actually built a free e-course. So it's actually a free course. It's only short. It's very brief. The free e-course is called Benefits of Low Carb. I did it over a weekend with a few short videos.
Goodness me, big job.
Just one weekend. Didn't take that long.
Yeah.
So that course, anyone can sign up, anyone can join. And then, so that course was for me to get used to the platform, because I had to sign up to e-course platforms, and also organize some Zoom coaching programs. So that's another education process for me.
Yes.
So for the last...
I'm doing the same thing, education process with IT. It's hard work.
Yeah, so I'm not used to doing Zoom and recording and all those things. And I struggled for the first time. So I'm about four times into the Zoom coaching. The coaching is still free for the rest of this year, for the next 2 or 3 weeks.
Goodness, that's an amazing offer. That's amazing. Yeah.
So at the end of the year, starting in January, the 2nd of January, people can sign up to my paid 28-day e-course. So the course is designed to have 4 chapters. So you can finish the course over a 4-week period. Very short videos. The maximum was 15 minutes. So they are bite-sized videos.
Good, yeah.
Yeah. So I go through the benefits of low carb, how to do low carb as a family, how to eat out, how to do shopping, how to plan the pantry. And then I go through other pillars like self-compassion, exercise. And then I go through the stumbling blocks of low carb, and then cholesterol and all those things. So it's designed to be completed over a 4-week period, and comes with it is a weekly coaching for this paid e-course.
Goodness, so fabulous.
Yeah, so I'm also planning a webinar on the 22nd of December to talk about how to succeed in your New Year resolution.
Right.
So this is a free webinar for 1 hour, one night.
Is that link on your website so I can tell people about that for you?
Yes, absolutely. So it's all on my website. The webinar is on the website. The free e-course and the paid 28-day course everything is on my website.
And while we're talking about the Christmas time period coming over, when you go out for a meal, how do you make sure, or do you just say, oh, I don't care, I'm just going to eat whatever's on my plate, or do you order it special for you, or how do you maneuver or navigate going out for a meal? What's your one tip?
That's actually one of the topics in the e-course.
Yes.
But I've done this for a while now, so I'm quite used to it. Prioritize the protein. So mainly order meat dishes. So just a couple of days ago, my son turned 14 and we went out and they had pizza, and I don't boss them around and stop them having pizza. So
it's difficult. My husband is not really a low carb eater. He'll buy a chocolate bar and say, oh, I just bought this bit of chocolate for you. And I'm thinking, oh my Lord, it's difficult. And I even live in the same household as him, and I can't help him to understand I don't really have that anymore.
Yeah, so actually, same. My husband's not low carb either, but he does him and I do me, and I don't talk about it anymore because
it's too. Doing. I know it's different, isn't it?
In the pizza. Yep. So sorry, in the pizza restaurant, I just order a few pieces of fish. So the meal was a swordfish. So I got fish and veggies, and whereas the rest of the family each had a pizza. So that's fine, and
everybody wins.
Yes, that's
come
fine.
home. But sometimes you just don't want to cook. Sometimes you're out and about, and you think, oh, I just don't want to go home and cook. So you have to just be careful what you order. And I think restaurants are getting used to people ordering a bit different. Like, for instance, vegetarians go in and say, well, I want the vegetables, I don't want the fish. So they're getting used to everyone having a different way of eating, and they're a bit more compliant when you go. Like, I know when I go out and I order breakfast, I don't order the bread, and sometimes it comes on my plate and it looks a little bit weird, but that's what I want, just scrambled egg by itself. That's what I have, because I know that it's good for me, and people look weirdly at you, but you just have to go with what's right for you.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So part of me having you speak today on my YouTube channel is Perth does not have a really big low carb community that I've found. We've got little bits and bobs, but they're not all joined together. So I'm trying to, I've got my low carb Perth Facebook page, and I'm trying to promote a community here so that one day we can have an event like you have just been to in Brisbane. You went to the low carb event in Brisbane, and how did you find that? Was it all that you expected? Did you learn lots? Who was your favourite speaker? Tell us all about how that was for you.
Yeah, that was fantastic because we haven't met for about 3 years. It was awesome. So it was a weekend away, actually Gold Coast. We went to Gold Coast.
Oh, Gold Coast, yep.
For 3 days.
Mm-hmm.
And we had the low carb celebrities coming to talk. There was Peter Bruckner, there was Anthony Chafee, Paul Mason.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
And Karen Zinn came from New Zealand.
Grant
Schofield came from New Zealand.
Oh, I don't know that name. Okay, I'll have to have a look at him.
Yeah. So lots of fantastic talks, and of course Lucy Byrne as well. And I had a short talk. I had about 10 minutes. Probably
Beautiful.
10 minutes.
How did that feel? Well, how big was the audience, Avi? What did you feel like?
Yeah, it was quite a big audience. It was about 200 to 300 people.
Oh, wow.
And it was great to talk about my journey. I'm getting more used to public speaking. And thanks to Tracy, who's been asking me to do all these talks on her low carb summit.
Yes, me too.
Yeah.
Me too.
I saw your presentation too. Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, good. So I guess we're always trying to have these events in Perth because we don't have any of that happening here. And it seems Brisbane, I tried to come to the one in the Gold Coast, but I think it was going to cost me like $8,000 return. Yeah. And you had it, was it at a hotel? Did you have it in a hotel, or was it at a convention centre, or how did they host it?
Center. Yeah, we had it at the convention centre.
And who did they have did you have food? Did they have caterers in, or had they manipulate
the
the
catering
food?
was fantastic. So the first night we had drinks, and they bring out plates of food, canapes, and it's all meat dishes.
Nice.
All of the dishes are protein. So we had drinks, and then the lunch was cold meat and salad. And then the doctors had a dinner organized, but we had to pay for that dinner. And those food was tremendous as well.
Yeah, beautiful.
There was one lunch they couldn't cater, but they had a talk on fasting.
Oh, okay, because that's another subject all in itself, isn't it? Yes.
Yeah. So they said they had to keep the costs low, so they didn't cater for that particular lunch. But overall, the catering was fantastic, and we did go out for lunch in the end, so that was all right.
You found
people that I have connected on this.
It must be amazing to be in one space with all of the people the same, like-minded as you. It must be just amazing to have that. You're so lucky to be able to be there. I so wish I could have come. So wanted to be there. So as we move on to food for Christmas, do you have your favourite food that you cook for Christmas as a real food, low carb, or do you go out for lunch, or what do you do for Christmas Day? What does it look like for you?
Yeah, usually I cook. But this year, my in-laws have decided that we're going to go out to a hotel or a buffet. So this year is a bit different.
Yeah.
So we're having a buffet meal. I think buffets are fine and quite easy to navigate.
Yes.
I mainly eat the meat, and that's all. And there's plenty of seafood and prawns and oysters, so I can stuff myself up with yummy seafood and roast pork and chicken, and just eat all the meat and some veggies. And by the time I get to desserts, I might not have enough room for the desserts.
Yeah.
So that's usually the plan for this year.
Good.
The last few years, I usually cook a few roast. So we have roast pork and roast chicken and ham, and I have some roast veggies, and yeah, so usually I cook quite a few of the meals, and
Yeah.
usually if I eat the meat and veggies, that's pretty good.
You're full on, aren't you? Do you have a big crowd? Is there a big crowd of the Charlton family? Do you have heaps of people there?
No, it's not a big crowd, but it's way too much food.
Yeah, there always is, isn't there? Yesterday I had my first, I'm 60 this year in December. I
Oh,
turned
happy
60 in
birthday.
a few weeks. So yesterday we had our first little family picnic get together, and there's always too much food. There really is. We're so fortunate where we live that we can have all this food.
Yes,
Yeah, but
yes. It's not hard to finish up all the leftovers. I just bring them to lunch in
yeah,
my next few days for work, and
it's actually quite good because you do that big cook up, and then the next few days you don't have to worry about what are we going to have to eat. It's all there. You know that's all good for you.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so we
Yes.
finish it up after a few days, and that's all fine. Nothing
Yeah.
gets thrown away.
Well, I think it's absolutely amazing what you're doing. You know, we need more GPs like you in the world because you just have the knowledge and you have the openness to learn more knowledge, which is it's always changing. Like I think the space for real food low carb is just speeding ahead like a freight train, and we're learning so much more all the time. So really, really appreciate your time. I know you're very busy, so I'll let you get back to your e-course, get back
That's
to your work
okay.
for the day. I
That's
love your
okay.
space there with the light coming in behind you as well. It looks really peaceful and nice. You look cute. You look lovely.
Thank you.
All
That's
right.
actually my home gym with my exercise equipments.
Oh, there you are doing your thing every morning, every day.
Oh no, not really. Just twice a week with
Oh,
the
yeah,
home,
yeah. That's all you need.
and I do running the other 4 days a week.
Oh, good job.
Yeah,
Good
yeah.
on
So
you. Good on
it's
you.
yeah, I feel much better. I feel good energy, and I'm so happy to have learned all this. And treating patients have become much more rewarding because
Mm-mm.
I can get results and people get my advice and they do the changes. If they listen to me, if they do the changes, they actually lose the weight, improve the diabetes, the numbers come down, I can get them off medication. It's actually quite fun and rewarding.
Yeah, and the numbers come down pretty quickly, don't they? But like the
Yeah,
blood pressure numbers drop and the blood sugar numbers drop pretty quickly, don't they?
absolutely. Yeah. So sometimes an old lady come in and she eats cup of soup and all the processed foods and toast and not much nutrients. I tell them to eat real food. A couple of weeks later, her blood pressure dropped. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Oh,
so that's when it's really rewarding because she
yeah.
realized that nutrition is so much important, and not a matter of easiness or cup of soups or
Because
chemical.
we are part of nature, aren't we? So we should eat real food and not this packaged. I think I heard Dr. Ben Bickman say, stay away from food with a barcode because it's not even real food, which was that's what I've been sticking to. That's what I say to people, just stay away from food with a barcode. Sometimes it's easier said than done because I know when
It
you're
is.
working, 40 hours a week, it sometimes gets a bit hard, but you managed to do it okay. You work long hours.
Yeah, I work long hours. I have a few easy meals and I keep rotating the same thing. Like I buy
Yep.
the Cleaver's hamburgers and it's easy. Just put the hamburgers on the pan and
Yep.
have some lettuce and cheese, and it's pretty easy. Or
Yep.
I buy the ready-made meatballs that's
Yes.
already made, just put it in a
They're all
pan,
done.
and
Yeah, they're pretty
yeah.
good, aren't they? Pretty easy.
And
Yeah.
I have a few takeaway options like a ready-made roast chicken, get the
Oh,
salad,
yeah.
and that's a takeaway easy.
Yeah, it is.
Or
You can.
souvlaki meat is quite easy with takeaway.
Yum.
So you
Oh
just
my God, that's
souvlaki
my
and
favorite takeaway. Souvlaki
yeah,
meat's
Greek
beautiful.
salad, and that's fine.
And you get
So
full.
yeah, so I'm busy, but I just find ways, and the kids don't mind. They have their wraps or bread, and I try to limit their sugars and junk food, and I do what I can.
Yeah, good. Good, good. Oh, you're doing an amazing job. Really, the world needs you. Needs more of you. We need to clone Avi and send her out into the world. or
Thank you,
bring people
Linda.
to you.
Well, you are doing a fantastic job recording podcasts and spreading your message as well.
Yeah, trying my best. Yes. All right. Well, thank you. Thanks for your chat and for giving me the experience. And I'll make sure I put this out soon so people can listen to it. And if I don't speak to you again, have a lovely Christmas with your family. And yeah, keep doing what you're doing. It's wonderful.
You too, Linda. Thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome. Thank you, Avi.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you. Bye.
Bye.